Hey, Julie, thanks for meeting with me. We did a peer analysis for your video for Lab 3 Wedding Planner.
Correct.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna go through. Let me know if you have any questions and stop me if you need to.
Okay.
So I just want to say overall, some really great things that I noticed, and especially since I observed you throughout the years, through our 4 years together. I've just seen immense improvement. So it's been so amazing to see that just from our storytelling and our first summer, the storytelling and your live presentation. So which were really great as well. But I just seen so much improvement. So awesome job. Some really, and I'll talk about these in like more specifically, but some just overall positives that I saw. Your finger spelling is so much more clear. I really like how you kind of slowed it down just a little bit. So it was like controlled. It wasn't bouncing. It was just like smooth and clear. So that was awesome. I know
Thank you.
sometimes like I try to go fast, making sure I'm fast, but then it just ends up not clear. So yours was very steady and firm and clear. Let's see, your flow and prosody throughout was really great. I know for me too in the past, like it's kind of been like choppy or like, I know in the past Kelly said like, we just do like why, and said you were like why, like repeating things instead of just like why like choppy. So the flow was just like awesome. Your conceptual and visual signing was awesome. Like I really, a lot of times, and I'll do more specifics below, but you painted the picture so I could like see, especially like since we're talking about a ceremony and a wedding. So that was just really great to have those visual paintings in my head that I could really understand. Your vocal affect. So when you would voice, your voicing was amazing the whole time. But you could really tell that you incorporated your nominated markers and your facial expressions, and just like it went with the time and what you would need to be like as if you were really vocalizing for them live to live. And then lastly, your processing time. You waited. I know sometimes we have a hard time with consecutive, like waiting to hear the whole thing, and you process that, and so you wouldn't do like English order. You processed it and you waited, and then you signed.
So you're saying it was more ASL, it wasn't as English because I
Yeah,
waited? Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome.
Well, yeah, and I mean there was some English signs, and I do the same ones. It's hard. On
Hmm.
the spot, when we learn those English signs, I'm like, I wish we never learned those English signs because then we have to like, so, and especially in the moment. But I feel like just overall, like waiting to listen for the whole sentence, the whole concept, and then you produce. So
So like bigger chunks.
yeah, and just not like talking over, not doing so many simultaneous, which I know blends are really well, but and I can email you all this feedback too.
I'm,
Um,
ri- I'm writing it down.
I know I saw you writing it down, but if you want to just like
Okay.
I I can send it to you, but my writing is kind of confusing too. So whatever you want to do. Okay. So your eye gaze was really awesome. I was trying to figure out like where she was. I know it's hard to like because it's in a video, but I think your eye gaze was really well. You kept it consistent on the same side. Um,
Okay.
I've struggled with eye gaze because I'm like trying to do this, and then I feel like my signs are like over here, my spelling, and so I don't know. It's more realistic to do um,
Real
body
shifty.
shifts, yeah. So, but even with yours, you were going this way, so everything was really clear. So I just wanted to make that comment. Um, so this was several times I noticed, and I don't know how important it is, but when you said like planner, that she was a planner, just going down, it's like the agent means it's like a person. So this is planner. You know, when you
Oh,
do like teach or you do teacher or student,
uh-huh.
so otherwise it's teach.
Got
or
it.
learn. And then if you do learner, it means student or like teacher. So that
I
down
forgot about that. I thought,
yeah,
because I thought this was like,
plan. I know that was kind of a bad example, but I have two other
oh,
ones.
yeah,
Um,
no, thank you for, because I,
yeah, so this is called like the agent. So
the
it's
agent
like,
marker.
yeah, the agent marker. Because real quick, there's two others. So the planner, and I don't know how important it is too, so this is something we can ask Kelly. And then
No,
like,
that's something that I really struggle with is errors. So I appreciate
yeah,
that kind of feedback of sign errors. Like,
I know, but like, I don't know if that's English too, so I don't know. So
not English, that's all
interpreter,
we're supposed to do.
yeah,
Interpreter,
interpreter. And there's,
interpreting,
yeah,
interpreter.
interpreting,
Yeah.
interpreter.
Mhm.
Because I noticed that too when we were talking, they were talking about the interpreter later,
Oh,
you know? And then there's one more, but I can't think of it, but it's written down when we get to it. Okay, I said the finger spelling, but it was right there in that specific, oh, I think the introductions and things with the names. I really like how you said talking to the right person at the beginning. Do you remember that part? I just think that's not what she said, but you made it say that because I struggled at that part because you're like, I'm really excited to start to plan my wedding and I'm talking to the right person.
yeah.
Because mine, I said something like, I'm looking for someone to help me plan my wedding. So that didn't make sense. Like yours was really, I'm talking to the right person because she like even signed person.
Yeah.
So that, no, that was really, that was effective, I think, because you didn't sign word for word. You like said more, like you changed it into like more, what I'm trying to say, you know what I mean?
Cultural, like,
Yeah, yeah. And then just your vocal affect too, because you're like, I'm glad I'm talking to the right person, you know? That was really
Mhm.
good. I don't know. I've always struggled with wedding, like which one goes up or if it's cross, and I know you do that. So that's something let's ask Kelly.
Okay.
I thought it was like right hand a little over, but I don't
I
know.
always thought it was like this.
Yeah,
But
because that
could be
makes sense because
regional
you're coming
because it's a
together.
banner. It's two banners. Yeah. So we can look that up. I could be regional.
Yeah, and that's something we can ask Kelly because I don't know if it's that big of a deal, you know, if we whatever. So okay. Oh, I really like how they're picking out the right date. Um, and for me, like or no, so you did like a schedule. That's how you started, and that like made it really clear that you guys were talking about when. And like I know for me, I said day instead of date, which I thought was good, but like what day? What were we talking about? Even when she said July 4th, like what is that, you know? And so I really like how you start with schedule, and then instead of date that you finger spelled, you could do like schedule, day. This is like date too, and then like what date, whatever. I just know like not finger spelling is like what Kelly, yeah, wants us to do. But I also know like for the EIPA, they like want everything finger spelled. So just kind of depends on your audience too, like what your deaf consumer prefers.
That's how I have with some of my feedback. It's like I know this is what Kelly wants, but I know real world
Yeah.
it's like.
And so we're right now like we're doing UNC, which I think is great because it's all related to ASL. So okay. And you already know this, July instead of June, July 4th.
As soon as I saw you say that, I go, wait. And I look back, I'm like, pretty sure I said June. July is my birthday. How did I mess up?
Well, and like, why would you have it on a holiday? That was kind of weird. Because then I'm like, wait, maybe it was June. And I look back, but it's fine. I did 9 when it was 8, so
I missed that. I didn't put that in my feedback.
no worries. Okay. The wedding is in the I think it was more afternoon instead of evening,
Okay.
but evening is kind of same afternoon. It's not night, so that was like a tiny, and who knows what she was meaning exactly. Oh, I really liked how I struggled to talk about like the wedding party, and I don't know if that's like more English wedding party, but you said like you said this, and that's what I loved.
Yeah.
Together, like in the wedding, and so you did that at the beginning before you, I think, switched to wedding party. So I really like that because I struggled with. I said like participate wedding, and I didn't like that. And then bridesmaid because they were talking about bridesmaids in the wedding.
Uh-huh.
Just maybe, and this I struggled with too. Like I finger spelled bridesmaid too, and I just kind of expanded a little bit, like the bridesmaids, like support and help the bride during the day, and then like stand with them. It's hard, but I thought just maybe a little bit of explanation. I don't
The
have
only thing with the explanation on that, which I think it is UNC's ways to do it, is that I did watch it once, and I saw that she finger spelled it. So
Yeah,
I was like, well, she
I
knows what
know.
it is. And
Yeah,
that's where it's hard, where I don't know.
because they
It's like
already
I knew
know.
them if I knew them, but it's like, okay, well, I'm trying to practice doing what they do.
Yep.
But at the same time, because if it was a real life situation and they signed bridesmaid and
Yeah.
then we're expanding on it, they'd be like,
Yeah. No,
but
I totally agree, because there's way, like, a lot of videos, they're so English. Like, so they already know it, so I want to use that sign, but you want to match your cultural mediation, and that's what you
yeah.
did. So perfect. Okay. So that's like the specific example I was talking about, processing before you give the message. When you were talking about a lot of brothers and sisters, you said, which was really great, you reordered the sentences. Instead of saying I have a lot of brothers or sisters, you said like I have a ton of family. So that was really good. Oh yeah, so again, waiting and then thinking and processing and then producing. That was a good example right there. When they were talking about doesn't matter your preference, I can't remember what they're talking about, but you're like, doesn't matter your preference. And then I think I did like your choice, which was not perfect. Like yours was like, it doesn't matter your preference. And that's a word that's like way more appropriate there. So awesome. Oh, and then when you said best man, is that the name? I can't remember the names of the guys, and it was groomsmen that she was trying to think of, but I just like omitted that part and you added that, like.
You didn't omit that part.
Huh?
You said, what do you call them? Best
Yeah,
men?
you said, because the deaf consumer was like, best man, was that the name of, what do you call them? And then you interpreted that part.
Oh, got it. Because
Does
I
that
was
make
saying,
sense?
I saw you interpret that, but I guess you didn't say.
No, I was like pretending to be the deaf consumer. Like, what was that name for the, because she couldn't see the groomsman name. So you interpreted that instead of just like saying it normally. You were like, that was perfect. That was really good. Your ring bearer and flower girl were awesome. I would just maybe, and this is kind of applied because she knows, but like kids or like children, just that extra sign to know that they were, but you like had them walking and you did that, and the flower girl, like, so maybe just add like kid or child.
Got it.
But same thing, she knew what they are.
I'm listening. I'm grabbing my charger, but I'm listening. It's right here.
No, you're good. So information and warn. Oh, when she was saying, be careful having younger nephews and nieces because they could be not be able to stand. And you said not focus, and I love that, not focus, because that made it clear. Let me see what I put. Oh, you just use the sign with. And I mean, I did it so many times too. I just know Kelly doesn't like with. Very English.
Okay. What did I do for the kids?
Yeah, you said, oh, and then you did warn. You're like information warn, so that was awesome. And then you said something about with the flower girl.
Got it.
It's just throughout, and I do it too. I always do it.
I'm gonna tell you stuff that I'm like, I did this in my video, but
yeah.
Not watching my video, I'm watching your video.
I know, and when we go so fast where we're trying to go, make flow and prosody, like I just know I've gotten feedback that with is English from Kelly.
Yeah, sometimes you just black out. Like I started something, like I said, it's very pretty in the beginning, and then I just get like tired and like mad about all the errors, and then I'm just like party planner. Then I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah, no worries. And that's like something we like. The 10 minutes is most important, and the raters don't want a huge long evidence piece, so then we could cut off. So maid and matron of honor, you expanded a little bit, and I keep getting confused with which is which. So, like, because I think matron
Maid of honor is married. I'm sorry, maid of honor
is single.
Is not married, and matron is married.
Yeah, and that's what maybe it was me that messed it up, or I don't know. So that was hard to expand on. So that's just.
Yeah, I saw that you did that one too. I thought you're like single, not married.
Yeah. I just couldn't remember if I messed them up or if we had the same and they're both right. So I'm just saying if we did like a revision, that would be something I would check just to make sure that we did them both. For me, it was hard to keep them apart to remember which one was which. Okay.
I'm in so many weddings and it's like lately. It's like,
oh yeah, you are in a lot of weddings.
When I first started off, everyone had a maid of honor, and now it's like we're older and everyone has a matron of honor.
Yeah. So. There was this one at 6 minutes 14 seconds that you just didn't interpret, I don't think, or maybe I didn't hear it, but it was like the best man. Something about the best man. That's what I put. So just check that. So like if we were doing a revision, just add that. But it was just a really minor thing. I really like how you did like the guests coming in, like the wedding guests coming in to sit down or whatever. You did this, which I really liked. And then I don't know, like, and I noticed later you did like if, but earlier you like had your thumb out. So I don't know if that's just.
No, thank you.
I don't know if that doesn't matter, but later on you did that. So really minor. The line down the aisle. Oh, that. I really like that. And then, because they're walking in. And then I know I did like person and then like up here and then they're up here. But I really like how you did that because, that was just more clear and it was awesome. I like how you said hire a cater because I just said, can I have a cater? And then you made it more just clear, like, can I hire a cater? Because she didn't sign or she didn't say hire. And so you added that, which makes total sense. Worry. I have the same. So it's like, I learned that too, like worry. I just learned another one just to give you worry, which I think is too close to excited.
There's so many things right here.
I know.
But okay, it's still good to be able to spot it.
Yeah, because I know.
Is that okay? She signed something like this for like, but she was like, is that fine with you? But
I did notice that, or was she okay? I don't know. Like saying okay.
She was straight up doing this, but she was like, so I was like, is that okay? But I was like, no, all right.
I just know my school district keeps signing this. And that's why I was like, what is that? And they told me. So I'm like, I always did this, which makes more sense because you're by your head.
You're like frustrated, like don't worry.
Yeah, frustrated is like on your chin and then worry. So I'm just giving you another, if you ever see this, that might be another regional sign. Party outside. Oh, and I struggle with this part too. Like you're having dinner and you want to hire a caterer that brings food in. And then, so you guys don't have to worry about cleaning and then you can go party and go. So that part was just a little confusing, but I struggle with that too. That same.
I thought you did that good. I'll talk about that in your feedback.
And then, another one is party. So you did party with peas. And I learned it like this, like party.
That's actually something I have for yours. So I think you need to ask the teacher because this is play.
This is play. This is play. And this is like that motion.
See, this is for me. I've learned this is playing. I wrote that down. Like, how do you sign party? Because parties with peas.
Yeah, and see this move, like the movement, play, and party. That's how I learned it. Like the different motion is like the only parameter that would be different. Just because peas it's initialized.
Maybe I just haven't updated my sign.
No, I learned that too. I learned party and I learned this way. And so I'm just thinking for Kelly, like using initialized signs. So, but I totally learned it that way too. You did great about having like warned about the alcohol none at church. So awesome job. Oh, you had parents. This was great because I struggled with this part. Parents, I think you said, what'd you say? Oh, added to the wedding, like the addition to your wedding. I thought was awesome because again, I always did like parents in or like parents participate. And I loved how you just said parents add to your party because they're not necessarily have to be in a wedding, not usually, but you added like an additional parents additional. I love that.
Thank you. I don't remember.
Oh, so you did the like you said your dad walk you down, and so you did it perfect. You just forgot the classifier for her, which I know makes sense, but you could be like you, like you set it up, your dad, this.
Got it.
Yep. I just said great voicing at that part and throughout, your vocal tone, register and effects, smooth and fluent, your facial expressions, non-manual markers. This, I know I really struggle with this of doing too many rhetorical questions like why, what, because I've got that feedback from Kelly too. But you did like some great, like if this happens, then this happens, conditional sentences. Those were great too. I just know for me, I always do too many rhetorical. Yeah, when you said ton of family, again, when they're talking about, are you going to have your grandparents and your parents? You just said like, yeah, I have a ton of family that's going to be in the wedding. So I really like that voicing part instead of just like listing everybody. Oh, here's another English sign that so R for reason, and I did the same thing. So I don't know how would we expand that without using that sign. I just know initialized signs. Kelly just really doesn't like them, which makes sense for ASL. But I don't have a good, so maybe we can think about that for later, like
realize. I know.
I like this is what I remember. Realize this is what I use, RL, and then reason. I'm just saying initialized sign again.
No, yeah.
Which I do, since it's an R. You know.
I know it's so confusing because there's some that people allow. I know she doesn't do like BG. She doesn't like that one, but I've seen her do certain ones. There's
family, class. I know, but I have seen family like this, and that's what I'm trying to do.
I just hate that because it looks so close to so many things.
Like meeting, I know. So yeah, I know that we do class. I know we do family. So there is some other ones. So I don't know.
You started off and you said room, which is like a really old.
That's English.
I was like, yeah, that's such an old one too. I remember when I was learning ASL, they said don't do room, but
no, I know that. And these things like I know, but it's like so habit because both my school that I work at and church, they're so initialized. Everything.
When I saw, I was like, ooh, I can tell she's actually interpreting because she's busting out what your people like, and I get that. Like,
yeah, so I just need to be better about that because I know we're gonna work with deaf consumers.
You didn't have that. The only initialized signs I saw in yours was room and
reason. I know I did reason,
but I did.
May be fine.
I don't think reason is one of those ones.
Yeah,
because there's not really.
There's not a better way to
Because you can't. You have to have the R.
Yeah, because you can even set it up like this is this reason, and then we do that. So that would be. I'll ask Kelly for that one just when we meet one-on-one, just to. But yeah, I think you're totally right. Okay. Oh, when you did the separate sides for grooms and that was great. It was just awesome. The only thing I would add be like separate. Just make that really clear. But it was, and just maybe one more sign that was like separate, just, but no, that whole thing was really clear and visual. Oh, I really struggled with this too, because the planner kept saying, usually this is what I see. Usually this is what I see in weddings. And so I like really try to think about that. And I don't know if this is too much. I just said like my past experience with weddings, which is like too much probably. So
no, I recognize one of your. I'm trying not to say what I'm about to say for feedback, but that's something I wrote positive. I really like the word choice for experience that you did and encourage. Those are the two ones that I was like, oh, that's good there.
And I know I use usually too. I use that part of it. So
I tried to do tend and I tried to do generation. But I liked
how yeah, that's a really good one.
because
And
I said 10 typical.
Okay, because I've seen that all the time at work and everything, and typical.
So it's like I did like weddings, generational, like generals, the men,
Yep.
family.
Typical.
They said there are like typical weddings, the whatever it's called, the guest.
Yep, I love that. It's like tendency. Yeah. Typical. I love that. Thank you. So that was on my list to ask you. So let's see. Oh, they're talking about how the groomsmen like walk everybody in and like sit down. And then she said like a few minutes left. I left that out too. For some reason I didn't hear that until I was watching yours. Like the last few minutes, then he goes and stands. So just that like
I was like, I don't know how to sign that.
I didn't hear it. I just omitted it because I didn't hear. So
I heard it. I was just like,
no, you're good. Because that's kind of implied too, because you know how weddings work. They walk people in, they sit, and then they go stand. So
by the way, the wedding planner really didn't want her cousins enjoying.
I know, which I so agreed with her. Sorry, side note, because I have 13 nieces and nephews, and I was always trying to find something for them to do. So, okay. Oh, it was awesome. You said walk, and then they seat, and then I kind of just added like another, like I became the usher and be like, here's your seat. So I don't know if that you wanted to add, but otherwise it was perfect. Like walking down. I just like I had a classifier, and then I turned into the groomsmen and like, here, have a seat. Just an extra classifier, yeah. Oh, picture. I struggle with this too because she says picture and then camera. So I don't know, because I feel like this is like a picture on the wall. I did it too because that's what she did. But I like, because you did both too. And then the only thing is for picture, do you usually do this or this?
I don't even know. Is it this one or is it this?
I always thought this, but now that I think about it, like this is like this, and then you go down. That makes more sense. So I don't know.
I actually don't know. I always find out like, oh, I've been doing that sign wrong for 2 years. I'm like, oh.
And I know. Like, and so many feedback I didn't know. Like we didn't have the best feedback before. Then I met with Kelly, and I'm like, these are signs I've been doing wrong. And so she gives such good feedback. Oh, when I think your video moved.
When I had to go all the way back.
And I have done that before, and I'm like, I have to start over. And I loved how you just kept your composure. The only thing is you're like, that's then you whispered something.
I go, I gotta find my spot.
Yeah. So otherwise, like you kept it really professional and kept your composure. Because I know that's one of the things on our, what was it, the Taylor analysis form. That's like one of them, which is huge. So that was great.
I didn't want to do it again. And two, I'm trying to practice. So when I do make mistakes and when I'm live, which is gonna be soon, that I'm just like,
yeah.
All right.
So announcements is how I do it, but I love, because I know this is announcements. So I like how you did announcements. And then celebrate. I like never use that for your like your dinner and then your party. Celebrate. So that was really awesome. I like that, made it clear. 2 hours. I can't remember what it is. 2 hours before. I think it looked like years because I think at the end you did that. I don't know. This is a minor.
I probably did. I do weird things like that all the time.
Me too.
Because I speak too. When I speak, I'm like, last night I'm like, do you want your salad? And Mike was like, you made soup. I'm like, that's what I mean.
I know. And I always get 2 hours and I do years. Like that one's, I don't know, it's just a bad habit.
2 years later, then we'll eat and celebrate your marriage.
I always do that. I mean, I was just talking at the beginning of this thing. I said, oh, the summer's going to be 8 months long instead of 8 years. Or, I mean, see, I said 8 years.
Exactly. Language is hard.
I know. Okay. I like how you said the cater, the food bring in, and then shows up, like what time show up. That was really good. When you said coming on the night before to decorate and hang lights, because I added hang lights and decorate, but that's not what I'm talking about. You said, to make it less stressful. I think I said like stressful, like whatever, but you did the opposite, like calm. And I really like that. That was like better than just saying stressful. It was the opposite to make it like that's what you want to be, calm. You don't want to be less stressed.
Yeah.
You do, but like calm is
Change
a better word there by using the opposite. Oh, just when they're talking about the night before and her helping with the tables and gifts, just adding a little bit of expansion, like lights, decorations. Because I know she didn't say lights, but just that's kind of like flowers. You know what I mean? That's kind of just implied.
No, I totally know what you mean. I know I kind of.
No, you're good. It was at the very end. Oh, when you talked about the interpreter standing up on the steps, I don't know what I did because I messed it up, but yours was like very clear and very awesome, very visual. Let's do that. Oh, you're talking about the interpreter standing and you're like, yeah, let's do that. Just, I know do is like, and do, like do is like more action. But I know Kelly doesn't like that sign either. So it's hard. But instead of like, yeah, let's do that, like, let's do that, because action.
This is more English, or because
this is more like,
what do I want to do?
You want, yeah, what I want to do, or do you want, which is very English, but that sentence, I always get those messed up, so I don't know. Oh, when you're talking about the checklist, you're like this, do this, and you're like check, check, check. I love that.
I don't even know. I was like, is this even like a sign? I know you can do that with crossing it off.
Yeah.
So I was like, check, check, check.
I've seen so many people like do like this and just use their hands like that. And instead of I did like this, check, check, check. This was way more ASL. Love it.
Thanks.
Oh, and I'm not sure. Just go back and maybe see like mom, dad, grandpa. I don't know if you did an extra hump there. As
like
great grandpa.
Great grandparents. Yeah. I think I did do great grandparents.
So maybe they're involved too. So I don't know. It just looked like a little extra.
I think I thought that they said
great. Yeah. No, really that's perfect then. Oh, and then I didn't notice this on my video, so I wrote this down as a demand that it starts playing music at the end. Did you notice that? And so I'm like, why did Julie put on music at her house? It's in the video. Like they start playing music in the church while they're interpreting. Because I went back to mine and it did it too. So just listen to that. I've never noticed it when I was interpreting, but I noticed it in yours. But it wasn't your house. It was in the video. Really weird.
Celebrating and it was done.
Yeah.
Well, yours is so detailed. Now I feel like I'm not giving you enough because I didn't.
No, it's fine. And yours is like taught me so much, and we already talked about some of mine. So, okay, go ahead, and then I'll do your live after that one.
I just want to start off by saying I was so impressed by watching yours. Like I'm not even saying this, like I was so impressed. I could cry a little bit. I'm so proud of you. Like, yeah, honestly, I was like, I feel embarrassed that she's watching mine because you have just improved so much. And I know, I mean, you always struggled in the beginning, but like, it's hard to even look back because my signing receptive skills were so bad back then. I remember during our presentations, you're like, did you understand that? I'm like, I don't understand anyone because I don't understand language. And it wasn't, I literally could never understand Jordan, Yvette, but now it's nice being able to have better receptive skills because I can see feedback, like I can participate, but just like your pace, and everything was clear. Like, and I think the best thing that you have, and that's something that I envy, like, you know, you always watch and you're like, oh, I want that, is you don't have errors, even though you might think like, oh, there's a better way, or it might have, the English and the sign language, you didn't miss anything. Like maybe that one part that you didn't say, but like I produce errors. Like when I sign, I'll do it a little bit off, a little bit wonky, or I'll miss like the complete meaning. But I would say like you're conveying the message, even though you might, you know, there's always things anyone can work on, but like your message in English and in ASL, I feel like is very strong.
Yeah,
like
thank you.
Successful. No, for sure. And I really loved in the very beginning when you finger spelled and you were like since it was important, you're
Mhm.
doing this, and then you reference to it. I was like, woo, look at that. Like it was like very professional. It reminded me of Daily Moth. Like, have you been watching a lot of it, you know? But it was such a good pace and it was so clear. But like I said, I think like you just got everything. Like there was nothing missed and there wasn't something that was like, that's not what you said, you know?
Yeah.
And I think your voicing was really good and you matched the consumer. Um, and let's look. Let me try to read. Oh, this is the feedback you just gave me. Let me look at your feedback. How did I write stuff in here? Okay. So I had party versus play because I was just confused, but now I know that I've been using the old sign.
I don't know. That's regional probably, so.
I'm sure it's just one of those things that's changed and I just didn't know it changed. So this is a kind of a question. I'm big on like the culture aspects of it. So I don't ever include the how are you?
Yeah.
Because if you ask a deaf person usually how are you, then they're gonna be like, oh, and you just give ooh. It's kind of an English thing because she's not, hey, how are you? I'm blah 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 blah. But I looked at other people's and so many people did it. I think even Yvette added it in there. Total preference thing. I just for some reason just think I reconstruct it and I think so I said, hi, this is my name and I'm the wedding planner, you know what I'm saying?
No, that's kind of implied. And she that wasn't like the focal point. That was more like her introducing herself. So I totally understand that. Cool. Thanks.
It's just something I feel like that always comes up in these videos and anytime I have a partner, it's always like I just like to get people's feedback on that because a lot of people are like, oh, I can see that.
Yep.
And your movements are so like crisp and clear. I think we both used to be shaky and like jerky, and it's just like you were. It was very just like everything was clear, even when you're doing this, you know, like it was clear and it was very nice. And you were using space, you know, and shift slightly. So I liked that a lot. And your finger spelling, like I said, I really liked. And I like you did appropriate mouthing with it, which is Kelly always gives me feedback like, oh, you need when you finger spell, you need to mouth it. So it's no one wants to sit there and have to.
Yep.
Okay, hold on. So I think I still don't know exactly what she said, but you voiced my goal. My goal today is to plan my wedding, which I think she's first like signed goal. So it's kind of try not to get attached to the word, the sign, and voice the word is something that I've noticed through the video.
Yep.
It's so hard not to do that.
No, totally. I've gotten that feedback from Kelly, so no, totally understandable.
Let me see. I said, great setup for July 4th and the index of the hand. And then I said, wow. Remember, that's what I already talked about because you're like July 4th and you just indexed it and it was just so clear. You used a reference. You were clear because it was important. And you kind of paused for it without like incorporating something like too many signs. You were just like, pause that, which I love. And it's something that I'm trying to do more instead of adding in these things, just naturally doing that. You matched the deaf consumer. It was perfect. Like you said something, matching the consumer, that's perfect for me. You're like, that's perfect for me. It was so good. It was probably the best thing you voiced, but all your voicing was really good. So you were, let's see this one. You're a bridesmaid. For a bridesmaid, you did beautiful expansion and then you finger spelled, which is the way that we're supposed to expand first and then finger spell. So I thought that was great. You did that pretty much anytime you expanded on something, you finger spelled. And I think that's like perfect. And I think even for like testing, when we go out to get certified, that's what they're going to want.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want? I'm doing all of it, you know?
Yeah.
Another one of my favorite things about this is something that I didn't do really at all is back channeling. You got I don't know how you multitask that. It was like you were signing something and then you would be like, yeah, okay. And then you would sign at the same time. And I was like, damn, you did not leave out any back channeling, which is something I just kind of put that on the back burner, and it's a bad habit. But like, you got every single back channel in there. I'm telling, every single time they did something, you interpret it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you really get all the information out there. And I think that's the bigger, everything else can be worked on. But like, my biggest flaw is like misinterpreting things that is not said, like straying the message. You don't do that. So, and you get like, you pay attention to detail, you know, you're in there.
Thank you.
So, did I sign, I said you did best, this was a question. You said best man.
I thought they're talking about the best man. So I think I said the man that's a best friend. But I also know I did like best, because I learned like friend, best, or like best friend.
Yes. See, I did this too, because, and then I did bride, and then the second time I did like bridesmaids, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I like that. I noticed that you switched to that later.
Once I introduced it, I thought I could, but I don't know if that's wrong, if that's unclear. But I was like bridesmaid, and then later on I was just like bridesmaid, which yeah. I feel like bride should be in the, this is, bride is once and bridesmaids twice.
I couldn't find a sign for bridesmaid, and so, but I knew this was bride. So I like how you did bride and then maid. I like that, because then, and then you set it up at the beginning like bridesmaid, and then later you said bridesmaid, and then later, yeah. So I like that.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't even know if I can do this, but we're just gonna try it. Your lexicon, you had a lot of great things that I envied, that I was like, oh man, I could have put that in, like I was talking about. So my favorite ones is how you did experience. It was so matched so well. Like I said, you're like, well, in my experience, and then you, when she would say things like, well, blah, 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 you would sign, I encourage you. So those were the two, and you didn't overdo them, but I thought those were really good lexicon choices. And it's always funny when you watch people, because like you have, people have signs that is in their lexicon that they use at great times that you never use. And you're like, damn, I should use that sign. Just like I tend to use 10. So it's nice to like watch these videos and be like, oh yeah, that was a great example of using encourage, or that was a great example of using experience. Why don't I use that anymore?
Yeah, cool.
So I really liked that. Okay, so on, let's see, so transitional markers at the first, I was like, yes, they're so great. And then I saw that you started to use the same ones, which I used okay 1,000 times. So that's why I'm laughing at myself when I say this. The things I noticed about your transitional markers, you said, and you doubled it. So about 4 times you said,
yep,
2 transitional markers. I know
you're right,
just it, but maybe just discussing it out loud is going to say, so, okay, and carry on. So so you said okay a lot by itself, or you did this. When I first saw that, I was like, ooh, nice. But it took away its effect when every time it was up on them. And then another thing I would say about that is that you could, which is something I'm trying to practice, is to, like I said earlier, not have as many, we don't always have to use transitional markers. We can pause, eye contact. So like, just, so there's so many times where you could have just been like shaking your head and then like, instead of signing okay, or reinstated the situation. Like instead of being like, okay, your wedding, you could have been like, instead of saying, okay with your head, your wedding. So exploring ways to transition with your face and non-manuals instead of signing, which is something that I didn't do in this video. I didn't do it in this video, but I'm telling you, I've been working with a mentor and once a month, and my signing naturally, when I'm just with her, I can see it improving because I've gotten better, but I am like, use important for like everything. I'm always like important. She's like, take it out of your vocabulary. And she's like, or, I'd always start sentences. So what she told me is like, okay, so you overuse this sign, so take that sign away from yourself.
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
use it just for like a couple weeks to see, and try not to, just to see where you go.
I love that. Yeah. No, go ahead. No, that's such a good. Go ahead.
No, you go.
No, that's because I know Kelly's like, you do this too much, because sometimes I forget to transition. So now I like use this all the time, and I forget, like, you just do pause or head nod. Like, you're so right.
Or smile, or negate it, or shift. So I would say explore and play with it, like kind of play with just
what fits at that time.
Yeah, but it would be really good tool is to say like me, I can't believe in that video, I'm just thinking about it, I didn't sign important, I don't think one time.
No, and I was gonna say, yeah.
And I have signed important in everything I've signed, and so she's like, just take it out of your signing, and she's like, bring it back. She's like, when you do such a good sign, like, she's like, important can be so good. She's like, but if you overuse it, just like this is like so great, but use that for something.
Yep. And you kind of have to just like see what fits at that time,
Yeah, for sure.
Like what comes natural. So yeah, I love that.
Let that SLF. Now I've gotten better only at this one, that when it's something like, I'm like, whoa, that's important. I'm like, oh, I can break out this side now. You know, like something like, all right, we're done talking about the wedding. Now let's talk about the finance. Then it would be like, but anytime you did like finish, and then you did another transitional marker. So it's good. And this is the only thing I'm going to say about Molly, sorry, what my mentor has told me about, one second, I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
Stop it. Oh, Jesus. And something I'm still working on, and like I said, I think it's harder sometimes when we're doing these videos, because we know what we're doing outside of it, but it's simplifying it. Simplifying it, because there's ways to express it without using so many signs, and sometimes and that's something I've been trying to do, but I did not definitely do that and I think that's because you're using so many transitional or rhetorical questions. Again, with the rhetorical, you already said that, but like you can do that with facial expressions too. Like, instead of including like why, or like, you can just do like, do a facial expression. But I think that some of the things, there was a lot of, and this is something that I'm working on. I'm just sharing it because I think it's so cool to challenge yourself. She's has me look up these games. It's like, so you get a sentence, say one sentence, and sign it. And if you would normally, you or I would normally sign it in like 10 signs. And it's a typical thing that we're doing, people that are not native signers. Yeah. She's like, and then she'll show me, she's like, do that sentence in 3 signs. I'm like, what? I can't. She's like, yeah, you can. She's like, classifiers don't count. She's like, just make it clearer visually without, because I think when you do that, it was a little bit like more English, like, you want to join the wedding. So it was kind of finding, instead of being like, just simplifying it, just trying
breaking away from the English, like word for word for word. I know that's a huge one for me. So that's perfect.
So I would just say like simplify. I think good practice is what she's having me do is go, like, she'll give me like a little clip, and then she's like, you can only use 3 signs to describe that. Or going back to my work and watching it for a sentence where I was really, really wordy. And I'm not talking about expansion, just like really wordy because yours like why? Because you want that why or reason, and then just being like, wait, stepping away and just saying like, okay. Yep. Because that's what's hard for me, I think, is like and I just don't know how to give the information without putting so many rhetoricals in it. Yeah. But then when I meet with her and she's like, stop. Yeah. Why did you do that rhetorical? I'm like, because I don't know how else to do it. She's like, just do it. And then I'll sign a sentence. So So that was the only things that I would say.
That's awesome. Thank you. No, that's huge. Do you use Sally from Start ASL? Is that your
mentor? No,
yeah.
I actually use Yvette's mentor, old mentor. One day I called her crying, Yvette crying, and she was like, you should, and I paid for it. Sally was great, but she's an interpreter. So we do it in English, which is really good. I got Erin to do it. So if you're interested, I know I meet with her once a month and I just do whatever she says. And the first time it was like intense, man. I wanted to cry. She'd be like, sign this sentence. And then I'd sign it. And then she's like, great, now sign it. Not using any of those signs that you just signed. Sign it again. I'm like, what? She's like, cool. I do it again. She's like, now sign it a completely different. I'm like, what?
I know. No, that's good. I used to use Sally, but you're right. And then I have a deaf friend that's actually a tutor. And so I've been meeting with him, but just since everything's online now, but I can still do it online. But it was nice because I would meet him at Starbucks and I'd buy him a coffee, and then we would do that. But I just need to do it more, especially now that everything's online. So I probably will get her name for sure. And then a lot of my mentors are interpreters too. And I'm like, that's great, but I know I need to meet with deaf people only for now. Well, both, but.
I definitely know I need more deaf, but I think with me, I work better because she explains why in English and she like expands on it. So I really, like I said, I promise you that I was so impressed with your work. I even told like the group, like I was talking to them after in text message of the girls, and I was like, dude, Lindsay's fucking signing. Oops, I just cursed video. I'm like, it's so good. Like I was very impressed. I was intimidated. I was like, dang it, now she's watching mine. I should have done it better.
No, I literally thought the same way. I love these peer reviews because we don't have a ton of them, and then I feel like we all should like peer review ourselves. Like for summer, since we have more time, just to see like these feedbacks and see like what our peers are doing that we may have been doing wrong the whole time and we never would have known unless we saw them. I love it. So thank you. And I feel the same exact way from you. Like, and especially since our assignments don't involve a lot of ASL anymore, it's hard to see the growth. So that's why I'm like, oh my gosh, like this last time I saw you sign a lot, and then now it's like such a huge improvement. Whereas if we were doing a ton of signing assignments, you would have seen like the huge growth. Does that make sense? You would just see little. It's like when you don't see someone for a long time, you notice like a huge difference just in general in life.
Like but even like weight, like if you don't see someone, if you see them every day, you don't notice they're losing weight or gaining weight.
Yes,
but
it's exactly what I'm talking about.
Like, oh shit, you lost a lot of weight, and you're like, but your man's like, no, she didn't. Like you see me every day, you don't know.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's awesome, and I totally agree with yours. Like, amazing improvement. So
I feel like next time if I ever have you again, I'm gonna give you more examples because you were so detailed, and I feel like I didn't give
you're fine.
More, and then I turn and I'm like, and there's nothing on the back page. So
no, I'm always like detailed on everything. Sometimes it's really kicks me in the butt.
One last thing I wrote down, I forgot that I loved is how you you're two more. You expanded it on so many things, and it was so good. And you really went, like, I do think that this was like clear, like walking, seating up, because I just like skipped some of those parts, but you're like, this is where, like, for the rehearsal dinner, like you went for it. You were like, okay, you're going to practice, you're going to walk here, you're going to walk here. I liked how you did the catering. Like, do you have a kitchen? And then the catering, you did that in like the cleaning up. I think that was really clear. And I liked that. But I love when you were talking about her coming in before and helping, and you added listing, which I didn't include any listing in that. And I remember being like, look at that ASL, boom. Like it was very ASL. And I liked that. And I was like, dang, I should have included something. And you did the rule of 3. So that was good because she only talked about packets and flowers, but you incorporated lights because the rule of 3. I don't know if that you meant to, if you just did that naturally, but if you're going to expand on something, you have 3.
Yeah. Perfect.
Sometimes I'll be trying to expand and then I don't think of the third thing and I'm like, I don't know. But
well, and I know Kelly doesn't want too many listings. So I know that I list a lot. Okay.
You only did one listing, and too much listing because you can use space, but I still think when you see listing, you're like, that's an ASL feature that you should look for and should have.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
People always use listing.
Cool. Okay. Do you want me to do the live? Should we keep recording? Because I think it's good. Your live one is good to have recorded.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So first of all, I just wanted to say, I really wish it didn't skip, because I was only just able to see you like for the first like 30 seconds, I think. So, but I'm glad you posted it, because the interaction between the two guys, did they know each other, first of all? Okay, well, you could tell because the hearing person was very sarcastic and almost like confrontational to the
their dynamic. That's his daughter's boyfriend, who's like the same age as him, and he refuses. You don't understand. Remember when we had the portfolio? I was like, you guys, I just did this meeting, and I'm like, it was so awkward, and the guy kept saying hearing impaired, and he kept
I remember when you said that. Yeah.
And he kept saying like that ASL wasn't a language because he's a doctor, and he kept saying that behavioral issues and not having a language aren't the same thing. And I was like, no, they are. And he was like just not listening to me. Okay, I'll let you
know. It was amazing, and it's perfect because you're gonna find people like that all the time. Because I know when I do live ones, I'm always asking my friends that are deaf that are like, so sweet, and I love that because you're gonna have so many people like that in the world. So I think it was so good, and I really wish I could see you more, but you can just tell your like posture and like your facial expressions, and it's different when we're live. And like I know the videos is like pausing and it's hard to be like in between, and this you're like all into it. It was so awesome. And I mean I could see you a couple times not choppy, so I could still tell that was going on. So I know that was going on, and I could hear your voice every once in a while too, and your voicing and your lexicon was great, especially with the words that they were using, like slew and or sleuth. I see. I don't know.
Talking about boats, and I remember being like, "What the fuck?" Because we talked about what. I remember being like, we talked about what we were gonna talk about. Like this is the subject, and all of a sudden, like, so how's your slew? And I'm like, I don't know how to slew.
I know. So I think you did awesome. And I just saw that Kelly made a comment, so I don't know if you saw it. She said, sit closer to the hearing person, and then just always look at the deaf person. And I didn't know that too, like you don't look back and forth. So, and you only did it a couple times before it went choppy anyway. When he was like, yeah, you're retired, how's your retirement? And he's like, I'm still really busy. And I saw that part. You're like, I'm just so busy still. Like your voice, like it was perfect. And then the hearing guy's like, busy doing what? And he's like babysitting his granddaughter or whatever. And then he's like, oh, babysitting. Just the sarcasm in his voice. You did that perfect. I just couldn't believe it. It was such a real life situation though. I loved it.
I'm so bummed that it.
I know.
Background commenting. I told her.
I know. So I wrote that down too because I remember you saying that before, and I was like, but that's gonna happen too. So that's like a real life situation, and you just completely ignored it because that was a demand that you could put, that kept happening, and you just like didn't even acknowledge it. So that was amazing. Some people would have been like, look at her, or like, so that was just, you did such a professional job ignoring that. I said deaf culture. I think I meant like, because you could tell that he was an ASL signer. I couldn't see him a lot sign because of the choppiness, but you could tell that you match that culture. Oh, and I think he said it like 3 different times. He said hearing impaired, said severe hearing loss, and like another one. I was like, and I knew you told me that. So that was like,
I didn't even know what hearing impaired, if there's a certain sign. Like, should I learn? No, he's using a word that's like.
I think not in the time, not like during the time, but maybe after, if you knew the, like in this situation, but obviously if you didn't know the people, like they might not want you to correct them. So.
Oh yeah. If I had told this guy, we actually call him deaf, we don't say hearing impaired, he'd be like, hearing impaired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, even though it's choppy, I could hear you, I think 3 different times say, hold please. So that was awesome, because if they keep going on and on, like you need to have them stop so you can clearly express what they're saying without, and it was a good pausing time too. So you like cut them off, but yeah, that was awesome. Because I need to remember to do that, because if you have too much of a, what do you call it? Like shorter sentences. Can't think of the word right now. Chunks. Shorter chunks. And like, even though you cut them off, which you have to do, like it was a natural, because it was like a sentence and he was like gonna go start to another one and you're like, hold please. So that was awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, he used the words like empathy and displaced. So those were like, how did you sign those? Because I mean, it was choppy, so I couldn't see. Did you like do empathy, or I've seen empathy, like empathy for you, empathy for me, and displaced. Like, so I didn't know how you sign those because they're such huge words.
I have to interpret for this guy a lot, and I have to, but it's my friend Gary, and I interpreted a long time ago his daughter's wedding.
Cool.
But he gave me the transcript before,
yeah.
So I knew what I was doing. But still, like, I had to interpret the rehearsal dinner for him, and he wanted to talk. He was so excited that he wanted to talk to everyone. And the things they were talking about, medicine, prescription, like, or telling jokes, and I'm just like, I literally at some point say, just laugh, please. Like, just laugh. And he'd be like, ha.
Yeah. Well, and jokes are so hard to interpret anyway. But yeah, that was awesome, because there's such a variety of like deaf people that didn't have a lot of education or didn't go to deaf school, and they were in families that had hearing parents and siblings. But you could tell, well, they're obviously really successful and educated. So that was really cool to have that experience for them, for picking live people that had that experience. So I think that was awesome. Oh, just the woman in the background, the woman saying, yeah, and then she was laughing at one point. And so again, you just did so awesome, like ignoring all of that. So that was really good. Let's see. Oh, temper tantrum. How did you sign that? Because it wouldn't work. And so I thought that was just a sign that I was like, or something that I don't know how it would show like visually.
Remember? For that, I can't remember, since I did that like 4 weeks ago, but I think I did like, if I had more time, I think I did like like
yep,
throw things. I expanded. So like Matt inside.
Yeah.
So yell, hit. I think I did like kick, hit, and then I said like throw.
Yes. Perfect. Yeah, I was just, now that I just thought about it, remember the sign like
boiling inside.
Yeah, I just thought of that just now, because I was like, I don't know how I would sign that, so I wanted to ask you. Cool. You just showed like the aggressiveness and confrontational in the voicing of that, of the guy, the hearing guy. That was really good, like showing that, because I think that would be hard for me anyway. I know he asked a lot of questions, the hearing guy. So it was like question after question. So you did a really good job. Like you didn't just say like the same vocal affect every time. Like you changed it up. But it was really good. I know, always. The hearing impairment, and yeah, he did so many different ones, but they were all like incorrect. So I'm sure he did a good job. Mental impulse. I thought that was just like a hard thing to assign. I was just writing these down for me to like think about expansion.
Kelly has us do, like, how would you expand on it?
Yeah. Her anger. Oh, her anger when we were kids. Like I just thought that was, I don't know, interesting, because they were kids, right? And there was a sister that was deaf. and like
That's
she had a lot of
fair.
anger. Yeah, just knowing that. Talk to this. Oh, so I just wrote these down because I thought they were interesting. Like when they were kids, they'll like get in her face and talk to her just because she was deaf. And I think that's like a good deaf culture thing that you can do. Because, and then he's like, our father, what do you say? Our
That wasn't
was
there.
attached to all of us. And
Detached.
so maybe it was detached. Yeah. Detached. And so, and like getting up in her face because she was deaf. And I just think like, I know that part of deaf culture, they don't want to be like, I want to tell, because they like, that's so offensive. Because they think, hearing people think that's okay because they are reading their lips, and that's like,
Gary's
so
family
offensive.
does that to him.
Yeah.
They just yell in his face, and like it's his family, so I don't want to get in the way.
Yeah.
His wife does it too, but it's so awkward for me. I'm just like.
So I just think that was really interesting for a live interaction, for that to happen. So I can imagine that was like, I feel like it would have been very overwhelming for me, but like so real life. So I think that you really chose some great people to do that with. It was awesome. So yeah, that's all I have.
That I thank you. You're so sweet to go in depth and look at that. I was just really bummed because like the cultural aspects and like the confrontational and just like the things this guy was saying, I was like, oh my, and like exactly their old wording, and I was just like, what? Like, I definitely, if the video would have been there, interpreting wise, it was a black hole of just like, I needed to expand on things, but I knew I didn't have that much time to expand on everything. So I just kind of probably went really English because he was English speaking. He was hard of hearing. He was born hard of hearing until he was like 70. No, sorry, he's 70 now. Until he was like 65. And that's how I know him, is we learned sign language together. He found out he was going completely deaf. So he is very easy to sign to, because I can keep an ASL vibe and he will pick up on it really quick because he knows English. It was his first language. Sign language is his second. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, I really like the live ones, and I'm hoping we can do a lot of that over the computer, you know, for summer. Since we can be face to face, but yeah, so awesome job. And
you have tons of meetings to do. Do you want to just send me this link and we can both send it to her for the recording?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll save it to my computer and then put it on YouTube and then send you the YouTube. Is that right?
Sounds good. Okay. I'll probably thank you. I love this. It's so beneficial.
I know, this is so great. Have a great weekend and try to find some time to relax.
I've been reading a lot, but yeah, I'm down to just like meet up and sign sometime maybe if you want.
Yeah.
I know you're busy, so when you're
I know, no, that's my number one priority. Especially being home. So like I'm reaching out to all my deaf friends, and I didn't know they knew how to use Zoom because all my deaf friends are older because they're from my church in our deaf ministry, but we are interpreting for my church through Zoom, through the live. So they all know how to use Zoom now. So I'm so excited. So I'm just going to do Zoom sessions all the time until we can get back to face-to-face. So that's my number one goal. And then, yeah, if you don't mind, you totally don't, just briefly look over my live one for 4.
I'll do it for me, of course. I'll look at it. I'll give you detailed feedback.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you, Marco.
Yeah, and
video.
And I'll do the same thing for you. But if you want like an official meeting, because we can do a 3-way with Sarah and Yvette or whatever. So just let me know.
Okay.
We can set it up.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too. All right. See ya.